Hey everybody, welcome back to Music Theory Logic. My name's Andrew, and today we're going to be talking about some simple Logic Pro tips, or one specifically, audio buses. So let's go ahead into Logic right now. So here we are in a session I have of a beat that I'm working on that I basically, I had mixed a little bit, but then I went back and took off the audio busing because I thought this would be a pretty cool thing to talk about. So we're just going to focus on buses today. So what is a bus? A bus is basically a term for a channel, an audio channel that you can route things to. There's two ways to route things to buses. One, we can use a send. So down here, we could send to a bus. You'll notice in your default Logic sessions that you actually have bus 1 and bus 2 are set up with a small room and a large hall. We're actually just going to use those today. And then the second way you can bus things is actually via the output. So you could send to the output. So first, let's talk about what the difference between those two things are. One, if I take this guitar and I send it to a small room reverb, I have to first turn up the volume like that. That's the amount that's getting sent. Now, this audio is still going directly to our stereo out, as it shows us over here. This is where the audio is going. The send sends a portion, the amount of that volume, to that small chamber room. So why do we want to do this? This is a super simple way to add some organic nature to the songs you're making in a computer. So anytime you've seen a performance in real life, you've been in a physical place where people have been playing music, even if that is a DJ set where people are playing recordings, you're still experiencing the music in an acoustic environment. What that means is wherever you are, despite being in a place that is purposely meant to be a dead space, I'll explain what that is, like a recording live room, but essentially anywhere we are, we hear reverb. What's reverb? Reverb short for reverberation. It's the sound bouncing off walls and coming back to our ears. So the simplest way I like to think about this is if we have 3 musicians playing together and they're in a room, we naturally get some mixing, if you will, from the fact that A, they're not on top of each other, so they're sitting in different places, and B, they're playing in a room, so we're hearing all of their instruments with the same reverberation, which creates something consistent. So in the computer, this is really simple. We're going to use sends to send to these 2 different reverb buses that come default, and we're going to create a room sound. So first of all, let's play the beat so you can hear what we're starting with. Cool. So let's make this sound a lot better without really doing anything but adding some reverb busing. So if you're using default drum racks inside of Logic, you'll notice there's a drop-down menu that allows us to send different portions of our drum kit on its own. Now you'll notice I just have one line of MIDI. That's our hi-hat. So I only have one channel. So there's no difference whether I do the send here or I do it from the actual hi-hat. So let's do it from the general system. So I'll solo this out. Here's our hi-hat. We're going to add some reverb to it. The small room, here it goes. The large hall. Now, that doesn't sound super different on its own. But let's take our snare and send it to the same reverbs. So small and then large is bus 1 and bus 2. Gonna send, let's listen to these. Nice. Now I want to actually sense a very small portion of our kick drum through the reverb. Now I don't want to get any lows in our reverb, so I'm going to actually put a low cut on this. Let's cut out everything below, let's say 110 hertz, just so that we don't get any muddiness. Now let's hear it with our kick drum. Now with the kick, you probably barely even notice that. That's kind of what I'm going for. Super, super subtle. Now let's go into our guitars. Now I can make this sound further away by giving it more reverb. So reverb is also a way to create a sense of like space or a stereo image in your track. Things with more reverb are going to feel like they're further away. Things that are drier are going to feel like they're coming straight into your headphones if you're listening to music with headphones. I'm not going to put any reverb on our 808s. Let's hit the other guitars. Notice I have these panned to the right and left. The point of this video isn't to talk about panning, but that goes a long way to do some of what I was describing happening in a room. Finally, our last guitar. Now, I'm just quickly sort of arbitrarily throwing that reverb on. You can obviously take the time to listen to how much reverb you are adding. I'm sort of doing this quickly to keep this video concise and to show you how, really without even attempting to manage the amount of reverb, just a subtle amount is going to really make a big difference. Let's hit our choir. Now, you don't really have to do this to every channel. I'm sure some people are going to say, like, this is not how you want to mix a track. And that is true, but this is really aimed at people who are really new to Logic Pro or maybe new to mixing, and you don't have the resources to hire somebody like me to help you mix your track, or somebody better than me, which would be more money. You can really help your stuff sound a lot better by incorporating some reverb bussing. So with all that bussing we just added, we now have this. All right, so let's hear it with our... All right, this is without those reverbs. Notice that without the reverbs, it feels very like something weird, not natural about it. Here's with the reverbs. Here's without. Feel like it's just drier. Here's with it. Cool. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Again, if you're new to Logic Pro, you can definitely take advantage of using sends to buses for things like reverb. Now, I didn't touch on doing bus delay, but that's another plugin or effect that's really commonly used in this kind of technique. I'll touch on that next time, trying to keep this concise and quick and easy for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, you'd help me out a lot by subscribing to the channel, hitting the bell for notifications, and if you want, leave me a comment. Let me know a tip or some sort of technique that you're struggling with, and I would love to help you out. Again, make music, have fun, and enjoy it on the way. Cheers, and I'll talk to you guys next time.